If one were to walk through Springfield College in 2026 after not being back for 20 years, odds are they'll notice some of the changes that have taken place on Alden Street. However, they would also notice that for the most part, campus is relatively the same. So the real question is, what was Springfield College like 20 years ago? And how much has the school changed?
I don't think a lot has changed in a lot of ways. So I feel like the student body, the students that I deal with are relatively similar, still enthusiastic, still very positive on being able to change the world and do things in the world.
However, for some who have been around campus for a number of years, they have seen quite a few changes. This includes Charles Redmond, who has been around Springfield College since the 1960s.
I think one that comes to mind immediately would be the physical nature of the campus. I think that the leadership under President Flynn and the leadership under President Cooper have realized the importance of an attractive campus and a functional campus. We have absolutely, over the 20-year period and continuing today, remarkable facilities for a small, independent, nonprofit institution.
While the campus in a lot of ways has honestly remained the same, it has seen a lot of significant changes too, one of them being right behind me, the Harold C. Smith Learning Commons, formerly known as the Babson Library. It underwent renovations in the summer of 2016, and it's more a study space rather than the library. Only the fourth floor of the Learning Commons actually has books for you to rent out, unlike the old Babson Library. The other three floors are just filled with study spaces for students to do homework. Another major change on campus is the move of the Health Science Center. I'm currently standing behind the old one right now. You head down Alden Street and you will see the Brown Cooper Health Sciences Center, which opened up in the spring of 2024. And last but certainly not least, we have the closure and demolition of Gulick Hall. Gulick Hall was on campus for over 55 years and was the largest first-year dormitory on campus for the entirety of its time standing at Springfield College. Now, as you can see behind me, the building is basically completely torn down. Now, while there have been a few changes to the actual campus, in terms of the student body, it's remained fairly similar. However, there are a few differences between students then and students now.
We are a much more diverse campus than we were 20 years ago. And I think it's part of the recruiting process, part of accepting the responsibility of society. And I think Dr. Cooper, particularly Dr. Cooper, has done a remarkable job in enhancing the diversity of the campus. We run a luncheon for international students who don't go home for spring break. So we did it last year for the first time, and I had no idea that we have a whole cohort of students from Nepal.
Yeah.
And fascinating young men and young women as far as the difference we made. So one thing that has changed, which would, you maybe call me an old guy here, is that there's been a variety of traditions on campus. And one of them always had been that you go by someone on campus and you say, hello. I think that's drifted away, and I think part of that is technology. Students are on their phones, they're on their different, iPad types of things, a tendency to be looking down rather than looking forward.
Springfield College is also a school that is deeply rooted in tradition. In 2006, there used to be a rule that prohibited people from being out on the front green in front of the Union. However, when President Cooper came in, she quickly changed that rule. Another thing that has changed is Humanics in Action Day, with the Humanics philosophy on campus now looking a lot different after the removal of Humanics in Action Day.
The main reason is, if you can imagine, right, trying to find community activities to help the community out for 2,000 people all on one day, right, in one city is a very, very difficult thing to do. You would go out to like an institution and there would be like 25 of us and only 2 of us would get to read a book to a class, right? Or you would go in little groups and you would each get a rake, right? And you had like a square square thing where you could rake their yard or something along the lines. So the amount of good that I was able to do as an individual was less.